Good morning. I just wanted to give you guys a little update on my garden. Plants just grow so quickly in such a short period of time. I think it's been 2 weeks since I last showed you my garden. It's the last week of May now, and yeah, I'll just show you. Hopefully you enjoy seeing what I'm growing. Okay, so first I'm going to show you what I've got growing in this garden bed. So I have Zucchini rampicante. It's obviously been just decimated with the bugs. I planted these late in the season, and so I really wasn't expecting to get much out of them. And so I'm just gonna pull these out and give it to my chickens. But it's okay. I can plant something else here instead. This is a Mongolian giant sunflower. I have my Armenian cucumbers doing well. They're flowering. They're all along this cattle panel here. And this one keeps falling over. It's almost long enough to, I really got to get this crabgrass out and get it to latch on here. But I'm going to be doing that today. I'm going to be working out here and getting a lot of these weeds out and just cleaning stuff up. So in the middle of this garden bed, I have zinnias and okra. This one's about to open. Not sure what it is. Looks like it's probably going to be a polar bear zinnia. Looks like it's got a white center. Got a mazurkia zinnia. This one just opened up this morning. Not even open all the way. Some of the petals are still rolled. This is a polar bear zinnia. I love zinnias. So this right here is actually a volunteer kale. I think it's a red ursa or a ragged jack kale. I'm not entirely sure. Probably red ursa because the leaves are not as curly. But that's really exciting that this decided to pop up in my garden because I didn't plant any kale because usually it doesn't do well this time of year. Here's a King orange okra, and I got some pods. Whoop, there we go. A pod starting on there. I'm really happy with how these are doing, and they're so beautiful. I love the red stemming on that. Another zinnia with a flower bud. This is an illumination zinnia. Another okra in the center. On this cattle panel, I was trying a new variety of cucumbers called silver slicers, just an experiment to see how heat tolerant they are. Cucumbers are generally slow to start for me, but this one looks super healthy, so I only planted 2, and the other one looks good as well. So, but it's much smaller. I really need to weed around it. I have this grass in my garden beds that I just can't get rid of. I'm thinking of trying to do layering on my soil. I have soil to add to my garden, so I was thinking about doing some cardboard around my plants, if I can do that, and watering it down and then adding some soil on top, and hopefully over the years the layers will break down and create I don't know, just make it hard for the weeds to get up in, because I weed this garden all the time and it doesn't look like it at all because this grass is just terrible. I'm not sure what it's called specifically, but it's like an under the ground grass. It just grows underground and you literally have to get the entire root, and it's all throughout the whole garden bed. It's like impossible to get rid of. But enough about the grass. So I have some more King orange okra in the middle and some more zinnias. This one's got loads of little, looks like leaflets where there will be flowers. So little bud starting there. Another zinnia, okra, more okra, and at the end here there's another zinnia, and then this one looks almost purple in the center. purple prints. And then over here I have 2 more orange okra. And on this side of the cattle panel, where I have one side I have the silver slicer cucumbers. On this side I have Luffa Gourds, which I'm excited to try for the first time. They seem to be slow to start, but now that they're reaching up, since they've put out their runners, they've been making way pretty quickly. So I'm excited for these. I've never grown them before. So I think they look really good. So let me turn around here and back up a bit. So out here I have Georgia Rattlesnake watermelons. This is 2 vines. They get massive. I put mine down on the pallets because in the past I've grown them on grass, and I do get watermelons, but the grass always comes up and kills my vines. So I thought this would be a really good experiment. My brother owns a landscape company, and he leaves me his extra pallets, so I have plenty to do to use. So that's exciting. And yesterday I came out and I saw a new pollinated watermelon right here. Right there. You can tell it's pollinated because it's a little bit bigger than the others. So that's exciting. And I just saw a bee over here doing some work on some blossoms. There it is. Let's see. We can get them pollinating the flower. Yep, he's moving around. Thank you, little bee. So next to these pallets, I have my lemongrass. Right there, it's doing well. It went to seed. And I harvested some of the seed, and I've noticed the cardinals sit up here and blue jays, and they pull the seeds off. So I left them because there's just an abundance. But I think it's about time that I cut the seed stalks off. Okay, so over here in this little pot, my friend, she gave me a cutting from her Plumeria. It's also known as frangipani or frangipangi. I call them Plumerias. And we've got leaves coming out, so that's super exciting. So along this outside of this whole bed, I have watermelons, different melons. Oh, I didn't show you my cantaloupe. So over here I have Hale's Best cantaloupe. There's one right there. Yay! I'm excited about that. And so now I'll show you the other watermelons over here. This is a Honeydew Melon right here that my friend Katie started for me. She has a YouTube channel as well. She has a beautiful garden, and I'll link her video below. But it's doing really well. Nice and green. I haven't had any pest pressure on it, and I'm just gonna let it grow out along cattle panels along the pallets as well. This is a sugar baby watermelon. Next to that, I have an Alibaba watermelon variety. This is a Moon and Stars melon, and this is right in front of the volunteer kale. And this, I love the variegation on the foliage. So beautiful. And this really needs a pallet. I'm going to work on that today as well. It's about a foot out in my garden. Here I had orange sweet glow melons, and it is sad. I don't know what's going on. I planted this the same time as all these other melons. And it is just not a happy watermelon. I did just feed it some fish emulsion fertilizer a day or 2 ago, so we'll see if that pulls through. And then these are Clay County yellow meat watermelons, and I need to get them a pallet too because they're bunched up here wanting to come out in the grass. So that's what I have in this garden bed. I'm going to show you my other one over there. So I forgot to show you this. I have some passion fruit vines growing. They are very happy and healthy. These were started from my friend Katie as well. They're beautiful. I love how bright and green they are. So pretty. So, and then I have another little pot here. I did have a big, let me back up a little bit. I did have a big sunflower in this pot, but it died, so I pulled it out. And I put this pigeon pea here. It's doing really well. And these are some snapdragons that I planted that have been growing really slow. And this one doesn't look so good. But I did fertilize these and it seemed to perk up a bit, so we'll see if it lives. But I'm really hoping that these will flower before they die, or maybe that I can pull them through with this pigeon pea tree here. Give it some shade and maybe they'll pull through to the fall. We'll see. So in this garden bed, I'll show you over here. These are Cardinal Basil. I have started harvesting these and they've bushed out quite a bit. This is one plant. This is another one. So they're really good. And these are supposed to produce big, beautiful purple flowers. I'm excited to see those, but I'm enjoying the basil while it's not flowering. Here's another zinnia. Looks like another polar bear, white zinnia. Here's a Mazurkia zinnia. And then I'm going to turn you over here. Let's go to the other side. So in this bed I have some different cherry varieties of tomatoes. It's really hot for them, so some of them don't look too great, but the leaves are obviously curling pretty bad. But I have a few different varieties. I bought blueberry tomato, Berry's Crazy Cherry, the Sweetheart Cherry tomato, and a blueberry tomato. Most of these are from Wild Boar Farms. And then I also tried a new variety called Florida 91. It's that one right there. And that one over there is also Florida 91 tomato. We'll see how those do in the heat. They had a lot of curled leaves and then I fed them and now they're not looking so bad. Like all the new growth is not curled yet. So we'll see. Hopefully I get some tomatoes. My mother-in-law, I gave her a few tomato plants and hers started fruiting. She has more shade in her yard though, so we'll see how that goes. On this cattle panel I have Christmas pole lima beans and they are getting super tall. They're about 6 foot tall now on there. Over here I have this lettuce leaf basil. I have some more of this over in some pots. And these are milder taste and the leaves get very large. I think they're 3 to 5 inches when you harvest them, and you can harvest them at any time really. I may go ahead and pinch off the tops to help it bush out and get to be a bigger plant. It just smells so good. So right here I have a Sunburst Squash. I bought this seed from Haas Tools. I have a really hard time with squash here. I had 5 plants, 2 died. I have this one and these 2 that are much smaller. The difference I found is that this one had a bee fly on it, which eats the bugs off of it, and I think that really helped it. And I have my first little Sunburst Squash in there, so that's exciting, and it's got loads of other flowers inside there. So very excited about that. If I get one squash, I will be one happy lady. There's another tomato. This is the Sweetheart Cherry tomato. They are blossoming, so maybe I'll get some fruits soon. We'll see. Here's those other 2 Sunburst Squash. You can see the bugs just, see there, right in there. Yep, so we'll see. I did fertilize these as well with a fish emulsion fertilizer, and I'm hoping those will give it a good kick. Next to this, between my 2 cattle panels here that I have beans on, here's some Mazurkia zinnias. I love the variegated ones. So pretty. I love how if you put the two plants together, it as they grow, they'll grow together and it looks like one plant with two different colors. I love that. So here I have purple potted yard long beans, and these just started vining up. You can see right there. So I actually planted these the same day that I planted my Christmas pole beans, and these have grown significantly more. But once these latch on, they will just really start going. That's usually how it works. Once they get on the pole, they're super quick. But these look super healthy. I did have a few aphids on here, but I got rid of those. You can buy ladybugs. I just sprayed them off with water. And then this is a ghost pepper plant. It's about 1 year old. You can grow hot peppers here as a perennial. It's pretty large, covered with fruit, so that's exciting. In front of it I have a zinnia with a bud. Some more tomatoes over here. These tomatoes are doing better. They're not as curled, so I'm looking forward to having fruits off of these. These also get shade from my chicken coop, so they get earlier afternoon shade than the others, so I think that's why they're doing better. So, and then I have a couple peppers here. This is a jalapeno. It's a heatless jalapeno, and I can see little buds coming up in there. And this has a little love bug on it. Not going to hurt anything, but this is a yes to yellow pepper, a sweet mini bell pepper. And then I have a zinnia right here. So I'm going to turn around now. I have these beds here. These are filled, this one is filled with sweet potatoes and sunflowers, and I also have a Cuban oregano right over there. It's flowering. So the sweet potatoes I have in here are orange Beauregard, which I just got some starts from the local hardware store. And then I have some in here that were volunteers from my sweet potatoes last year. They're a purple sweet potato variety. And I just transplanted these over here. They were in my watermelon bed, but they popped up and I put them over here. And at first they looked like they died, but obviously they're very happy to come over here. I love the sweet potatoes. They're so pretty. And then there's another purple one. The rest of them are orange. So I believe I have 6 purples and 6 orange. And then I have some sunflowers. I started some different varieties. One there, one here. And this is the first one that germinated, so it is much bigger. The others germinated almost a week and a half after this one. And then here's a close-up of this Cuban oregano. Beautiful. I love the flower spikes. This is a perennial here, and it's very quick to grow. I have to cut it back significantly. I take about a third of the plant away. I clean up all around the edge of this, and I just cut it back to about here. And it just grows back. It's a very happy little plant, and it smells really good. And this was started for me from my friend Katie. She gave me a start about this big, and I've had it for about 1 year, and now it's massive, and I have cut it back twice. So I'm really happy with this. I love it. I just harvest it when I need to use it because it's a perennial, and it's super easy to propagate. As you can see, it's encroaching on my sweet potatoes. So I think today when I'm out here doing my garden work, I'm gonna just take off. I'm gonna go ahead and prune that. So I'm gonna show you my other purple garden bed over here. So this one I'm doing work in. As you can see, there's not a whole lot planted here. I'm gonna do my best to get this grass out, and then I have a big pile of compost I'm gonna fill at the soil level. And I have a rosemary bush here growing, and I love this. It just smells so good. I just like to rub my hand on it and smell it. wish you guys could smell that. And I've heard that rosemary propagates fairly easily, and I know one of my friends wanted one, so I'm gonna try to experiment with that maybe this weekend. So over here I have another cattle panel and a new garden bed my husband built me out of bamboo over there. Cattle panel arch is going over the two. I'm waiting to fill this with soil before I plant anything. I think I'm gonna plant a black-eyed Susan vine. They're gorgeous, and I have a little pepper here, so I'm just gonna leave that. And I'm just gonna plant the vine over here, and it can hopefully work its way up and fill in the whole space. So I'll show you my other ones I have growing on the other side in a minute. But here's a sweet bell pepper. I love sweet peppers, and it looks really happy. So I'm happy about that. And then over here I have two banana peppers, the small one and this very large one. These I've had for about 1.5 years. Both of them, they're actually the same age. This one got, when I first got this, my kids actually like stomped on it, and so it stunted the growth, but I didn't give up on it, and it's very healthy. And this one had its own problem. It was covered with hornworms at one point over the last fall, and I neglected it over the winter a bit, but it's okay. I am taking care of it now, and it gives me loads of peppers. So I actually just harvested 2 whole basketfuls of this in the past month, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to walk over here and show you my newer garden bed. I have to top off the compost level here, but here are the black-eyed Susans I was telling you about, the vines. They're just so gorgeous, and they grow here, I believe, as a perennial, or they happily self-seed. So these will be here like permanently. I want more flowers in my garden, so I planted these, and I just love the way the leaves are shaped, and I'm just waiting for them to put off some runners, and then they'll be going. I planted another one on the other side. It's significantly smaller, but it is healthy, so that's good. And then these I have in here are just pepper plants. They're hardening off. Cuban Oregano. This one doesn't look so good, but it probably just needs to be, I guess it's okay. It's just the leaves are kind of wilted. It feels kind of wet. I watered them really good, and then it rained, so it's kind of small, so maybe it just didn't like that. Here's a Rubia orange sweet pepper, and there's a little late germinator right there. So I think it's a Rubia, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I thought this was a really interesting pepper plant because the way the leaves are, like, these 2 leaves are so like wide and long, but I think it looks really cool. So we'll see how that turns out. This is a Cuadrado. It's like a very large sweet yellow bell pepper. It's doing really well. Got some Corbaci sweet peppers. There's a little red ghost pepper for my husband. He likes to make hot sauce with them. And then I have an Advarsky roasting pepper. Everything's looking really good. And then over here, I have a little, this is where I start my new seeds. I just pulled these off a plant. I'm gonna save seed for them. But this plant start tray got flooded with water, unfortunately, so you can see the effects of that. But I have some moraging orange okra here. I'm gonna give these to my aunt. She wanted some, and this is the last of my seeds, so I'm hoping these will pull through. I could probably go ahead and transplant them into pots like this, and they would do better, so I'll probably do that today while I'm out here working. Here's some Carolina Reaper starts, some peach and chocolate ghost peppers, and here I planted Rubia peppers, but I'm not sure if they're gonna pull through because the soil just got flooded, but we'll see. You never know. This is actually a volunteer pepper. I have no idea what kind it is. I just stuck it in the pot. Here's a Cuban Oregano. I did pinch the top off of those. I usually pinch tops off when I plant them in the ground, but this one started budding, so I went ahead and pinched the tops off. And that's just to promote a bushier fuller plant, so it's not super long and leggy. You don't have to stake it up as much. So here I have a milkweed that I started from seed. My first time doing milkweed. I'm glad I actually have 2 of them. Wait, yeah, here's the other one. This one is a little smaller, but there's some grass. Pull that out. But I'm really happy with these. And then I have some more tomatoes that I'm going to be getting in the ground. So these are going to actually go in this purple bed that I'm cleaning out today. That gets a little more shade than the other area, so I'm hoping that these won't have any problems with the leaf curl and will be productive. And then over here I have some more tomatoes and peppers. So, and then I started some lemongrass here, and these got flooded with water, so they look bad, but you can see the sprouts anyway. They pulled through, and I'm going to transplant those, but not today. I need to get them a little bigger. And then I have some more peppers growing that aren't quite as big, all different varieties. And then these are Sweet Williams, or I actually didn't know what these are. My friend Katie started these for me, and they're actually a variety of dianthus, and I love dianthus, so I'm going to be separating these today, which I'm excited about. I was thinking about putting these in some of my blocks around my garden bed, pulling the grass out, putting some extra compost in there, and maybe separate these and put them in. But I think some of them are too small to compete with weeds, so like these bigger ones would be fine. But I think I'm going to put them in bigger pots, pot them for now, and transplant them out when they're a little bigger and compete better. And then she also started me some onions, which I still have here, and they're doing well. Over on this tray I have some lettuce leaf basil 6-packs and giant zinnias that I'm going to be starting for my shop. They're all starting to come up, and this is actually in full shade, so today I'm going to be planting out all those tomatoes in that purple bed, and hopefully a lot of the peppers, and I'm going to move this over there to part sun to harden them off, and once they get in the sun they're going to just take off, so I'm excited about that. So over on this table I have this like 3-tier planter, but I took it apart because it was really hard for me to water all around and for it to get equal sun. So I just took it apart and have it on my table here. In this one I have lettuce leaf basil. Look how beautiful those are. Oh, so pretty. And then I have some thyme. It's so wispy. Part of it died, and I'm not entirely sure why. But, yeah, I love the rest of it. The rest of it looks really healthy, so I'm hoping it will pull through. And then I have some zinnias in here, which I have no idea what kind these are because they haven't flowered yet. I mixed them all up. But I planted like 8 different varieties of zinnias, and I'm not sure how these will do in the pot. If it seems to be struggling, I'm just gonna take the whole pot and go plant it somewhere in my garden. And then over here I have some more lettuce leaf basil, and it's so pretty. I just love how it looks. So different from your basic basil. And then I have another zinnia, which I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have to move this one. But I did just put I originally put these in here because I wanted to get them out of the pots that were on my table. So maybe today I'll put this zinnia in one of my garden beds that I'm gonna be planting out today. One of those. So we'll see. So that was my garden tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Happy gardening.